After filling out the college application forms, I excitedly went to find Ryan. Outside the billiards hall, I heard someone inside exclaim, "You didn't apply for Jeddah University? What about Cece?" Ryan knocked down a ball easily and said casually, "She can go by herself." I was just lying to her. I never planned to go to Jeddah University. Ryan, you're really something. You even have the heart to deceive such a cute little sister. You're as cold-hearted as iron. Ryan smiled and said lightly, "It's really a bit annoying to be pestered by her every day." Outside the door, it felt like a sharp sword had stabbed my heart, and the pain was so intense that it numbed me. I squatted on the ground and cried for almost half an hour before my mood gradually calmed down. From the very beginning, when I felt sad and heartbroken, to the later stages when I had feelings of grievance and reluctance, my emotions fluctuated rapidly. But now, I discovered that I was surprisingly calm. Just now, all those intense emotions that were like a mountain torrent had now turned into a receding sea level, quiet and composed. I wiped away my tears, took a few deep breaths, and walked into the billiards hall. Ryan had just cleared the table with a handsome shot, and the people around were applauding and cheering for him. Seeing me come in, he put the cue on the table and reached out to greet me. "Why did you come out on such a hot day? Aren't you the one who's most afraid of the sun?" I stared into his eyes and said seriously, "I just filled out my college application forms." For a moment, I seemed to see a hint of guilt in his eyes. Or maybe I was just mistaken. Ryan coughed lightly. "Yeah, we filled out the forms today. I've already done mine too." I stared at him without moving. "You once promised that if I got into the same university as you, then, Cece, I'm sorry. There's something I forgot to tell you." Ryan's eyes drifted to one side. "My mom won't let me study medicine. She forced me to apply for Nanda University." "Didn't you say that your dream was to be a doctor?" I asked softly. He frowned, looking very depressed. "You know, my mom has always been domineering. She kept saying that being a doctor is too hard and thankless, and forced me to apply for the finance department of Nanda University." I lowered my head and didn't say anything. So this was the excuse he used to put me off. "Ryan, do you think anyone would believe this? Your mom is domineering, but when has she ever been able to outwit you? Whenever you had an argument, didn't it always end with her giving in?" All my questions remained unasked. I just looked up at him and asked calmly, "So, we can't go to the same university together?" "I'm sorry, Cece." Ryan lowered his head to coax me. "Don't be angry. I'll treat you to crayfish tonight. Besides, it's not like we'll lose contact. We can still make phone calls and video calls." I didn't respond and turned around to leave. "Ryan, there's no future for us. I'll never contact you again." During the summer vacation, Ryan invited me to go out and play several times, but I found excuses to refuse him. After that, he never invited me again. However, he posted frequently on Moments, and I could always see his updates. He completely let himself go and invited a few friends to travel all over the country. A few days ago, he was in Tibet, and a few days later, he went to Inner Mongolia. Today, when I opened Moments, I saw pictures of him playing at the seaside. There were 6 or 7 people in their group, all of whom I knew. There were his classmates and his childhood playmates. There were both boys and girls, and they took a lot of group photos together. In the photos, he had his back to the sea and was smiling brightly. "Look, he's having so much fun without me." I remembered what I had once said to him. I said that I wanted to go to the seaside after the college entrance examination. He had a very disdainful tone at that time. "What's so nice about the sea?" It was obvious that he didn't want to accompany me, so I never brought up the topic again. So it wasn't that he didn't like the sea. He just didn't like to accompany me to see the sea. It's really a bit annoying to be pestered by her every day. What he said in the billiards hall that day echoed in my ears again. The impatient tone when he spoke was like a blunt knife, cutting me up again and again. I never knew that he was so tired of me. He was so tired of me that he deliberately lied to me, saying that he wanted to be a doctor and his target was Jeddah University. But after I applied for Jeddah University, he quietly applied for Nanda University instead. Did he dislike me so much that he was afraid of going to the same university with me? I'm not shameless. I also have my self-esteem. If I had known earlier that he hated me, I wouldn't have stuck around him every day. Clearly, I had also felt his affection for me before. Ryan and I were childhood sweethearts and grew up together. The villas of our two families were right next to each other, and we had been neighbors for over 10 years. We first met in kindergarten. At that time, our family had just moved there. Because I changed to a new kindergarten and all the children I knew before were gone, I kept crying as soon as I arrived at the kindergarten. It was Ryan who ran over, handed me a lollipop, and stroked my head to comfort me. Such a pretty little sister doesn't look good when she cries. After that, I became Ryan's little follower. I followed him wherever he went. Not only in kindergarten but also when we went home. When I found out that we were neighbors after coming back from kindergarten, I didn't even enter my own house but ran straight to his house. My mom was very helpless. Ryan's mom, however, was overjoyed and kept saying that she got a daughter for free. Actually, Ryan's parents were also quite surprised that he could be patient enough to play with me. Because before that, Ryan had never liked playing with little girls, saying that little girls were too delicate and would cry at the slightest provocation. Ryan, why do you like playing with Cece? Ryan's mom asked him. Because Sister Cece is pretty, just like a doll. Ryan pinched my cheek. She has dimples when she smiles, and I like to see her smile. I grinned foolishly. I also like playing with brother. Because my parents doted on me, and even the uncle, aunt, and brother next door were kind to me, I hardly had any troubles growing up and grew up carefree all the way. People who are spoiled are always especially childish. Even when I was in high school, I still thought of myself as a child. As for Ryan, I had always regarded him as my brother. It was Ryan who took the initiative to bring our relationship closer. He made me realize that I had grown up and could have romantic feelings. In the first year of high school, I received a love letter for the first time. I was so stunned at that time. There was actually a boy who liked me? The kind of liking that a boy has for a girl? I was clearly still a baby. With a playful mind, I told Ryan about the love letter. Unexpectedly, his expression changed immediately. Cece, you're only in the first year of high school. You can't have puppy love, he said seriously. Of course not. I don't like that boy anyway, I replied without thinking. Are you saying that if you meet someone you like in the future, you'll have puppy love? He nervously grabbed my arm. I don't know, I said. Cece, I won't allow you to like anyone else. Ryan stared at me, speaking word by word. There seemed to be flames burning in his eyes, and intense emotions were rolling freely. At that moment, it was as if I suddenly had an epiphany. Was it what I thought? Brother Ryan, did he like me? Because of the influence of idol dramas, all kinds of sweet plots immediately played out in my mind. I just replaced the protagonists with him and me. In the future, if Ryan and I could fall in love sweetly like in idol dramas and then get married, it seemed quite nice. Oh no, the more I thought about it, the more inappropriate it seemed for a child. My face started to turn red and the blush spread all the way to my neck. Anyway, you have to promise me that you won't have puppy love in the 3 years of high school, Ryan solemnly warned me. I was so enchanted by those plots that I nodded vigorously. Since then, I had become especially clingy to Ryan. Every day after school, instead of hurrying home to watch my favorite anime, I would sit by the basketball court, obediently wait for Ryan to finish playing basketball, and then go home with him. When he went to the internet cafe to play games, I would lie on the table beside him, doing my homework while waiting for him. When I was young, I didn't know how to hide my feelings, and my affection for him was obvious to everyone around me. Everyone could see that I liked Ryan. The way Ryan and I got along gradually changed. Before, he always called me a kid, treated me like a sister, and liked taking care of me. Later, it gradually became that I started taking care of him. He was always impatient about having breakfast. So every morning, I would bring 2 breakfasts. On the way to school with him, I would stare at him until he ate with me. If the weather was about to change, I would send him a text message the day before to remind him to wear more clothes the next day. When he caught a cold and got sick, I was even more nervous than him and would prepare cold medicine properly for him. At first, he would laugh at me for being like a bossy little housekeeper. Later, he became more and more impatient and even said that I was like his mother, always meddling in his affairs. I felt so aggrieved. I was just caring about him. Finally, he lost his temper with me once. During the summer vacation of the second year of high school, one night, a friend of Ryan's was having a birthday and invited him to sing karaoke all night at a KTV. Ryan was afraid that his mom wouldn't agree, so he asked me to cover for him, saying that he was going to a classmate's house to preview the lessons for the third year of high school and would stay overnight there. Because I had always been well behaved in the eyes of adults, with my testimony, Ryan's mom believed him and agreed that he didn't have to come home at night. However, in the evening, when I scrolled through Moments, I saw the photos posted by his friend. They were actually drinking at the KTV. I was shocked. Ryan had never drunk alcohol before. He was only in the second year of high school and still a student. How could he drink? More importantly, he hadn't recovered from his cold yet and still had a low fever. Would drinking affect his recovery? There were so many empty wine bottles on the table. I wondered how much they had drunk. I started to worry. I called Ryan, but he didn't answer the phone. I was so anxious that I paced back and forth in my room. Half an hour later, I was really worried, so I went to his house and told his mom about it. That day, Ryan's mom went to the KTV and brought Ryan back. Moreover, she also scolded the classmate who was having the birthday in the private room, saying that he had led Ryan astray. Ryan felt so embarrassed. After being grounded for 3 days and coming out of the house, he called me and asked me to go out. At my doorstep, he lost his temper with me for the first time. He shouted at me loudly, asking me not to interfere in his affairs in the future. "Cece, who do you think you are? What right do you have to meddle in my affairs? What I hate the most is people like you who tattle behind my back." I had never seen Ryan so fierce before. I cried for a long time after I went home. I thought that I would never talk to Ryan again. I didn't contact him for the whole summer vacation. When the third year of high school started, it wasn't long before my birthday. Ryan bought me a crystal ball that I liked and gave it to me. He squatted in front of me, kept at eye level with me, and said in a pitiful tone, "Little Cece, I'm wrong. Don't be angry anymore, okay?" I was so weak-willed that I was immediately coaxed by him. Since then, Ryan and I would occasionally have conflicts. But every time he coaxed me with just a few words, I would calm down. In the second semester of the third year of high school, I asked Ryan where he planned to apply for college. He said that he wanted to be a doctor and was going to apply for Jeddah University. "And you?" he asked. Without hesitation, I said, "I'll go wherever you go." However, I was a bit worried that I might not be able to get in. After all, the admission scoreline of Jeddah University was quite high every year. Ryan said that he would help me with tutoring. This was another thing that fascinated me about him. Ryan was really smart, obviously. I studied harder than him in academics, but my grades were just not as good as his. He always seemed carefree, but he always did well in exams and was deeply loved by the teachers. Under Ryan's tutoring and supervision, my grades finally improved. "If I get into the same university as you, can you fulfill one of my wishes?" I looked at him with hopeful eyes. "Can I refuse?" There was a smile in the corners of his eyes. No. "If you refuse, I won't have any motivation to study now." "Okay, I promise you." He looked rather helpless. Both he and I knew very well what that wish was. Yes, I planned to confess my love to him after getting into Jeddah University. When the college entrance examination scores came out, they were about the same as what I had estimated. I was sure to be admitted to Jeddah University. But after filling out the application forms, I realized that Ryan had been plotting for a long time. He wanted to get rid of me. When the university started, other students entered the campus full of expectations, but I had a gloomy face and was extremely down in the dumps. Having been tricked by the boy I used to like the most, I fell into deep self-doubt. Am I really that annoying? Did he go to so much trouble and make such a big detour just to get rid of me after entering university? Ryan had always been better at studies than me. It was quite difficult for me to get into the same university as him, and I didn't hold any hope before. At that time, my wish was that it would be okay as long as I was in the same city as him after university. I didn't mind the trouble. I could go to see him whenever I had no classes. Of course, Ryan knew what was on my mind, but he didn't want that. He deceived me just to make sure that I wouldn't be in the same city as him. The University of Jinan and Nanjing University were thousands of miles apart. He got what he wanted. I spent a semester in the university like a walking corpse. I was absent-minded in class and in a daze after class. I had never taken my studies seriously. Compared with the medical students around me who were buried in their studies, I was like an outlier. I had never been really interested in studying medicine and had never thought of becoming a doctor. I applied for this university just because I was head over heels in love with Ryan at that time. At that time, I was always looking forward to strolling around the campus hand in hand with him and having a shamelessly affectionate romantic life after entering university. I had never really considered that I also needed to study hard at university. Things changed during the winter vacation of my freshman year. After the winter vacation started, I flew home. On the plane, a passenger sitting next to me had a heart attack and even stopped breathing for a while. It was the first time I had encountered such a situation, and I was completely scared silly. When the flight attendants and passengers were all in a panic, an elderly passenger took timely action and helped the patient with cardiopulmonary resuscitation. 20 minutes later, the patient's breathing finally became smooth, and he woke up before the plane landed. At the moment when he opened his eyes, many passengers were so moved that they burst into tears. Just a little bit more, and a life would have disappeared right in front of our eyes. Now, he survived. Only by experiencing it in person can one understand how thrilling it was. And in my mind, the words of the passenger who saved the life kept repeating, "I'm a doctor." Watching that doctor save a life right in front of me with my own eyes, I was extremely shocked in my heart. I knew that a doctor's duty was to heal the wounded and rescue the dying, but I had never witnessed it with my own eyes. It turned out that saving lives was so honorable. It turned out that those who could bring the dying back to life were so charming. I couldn't help thinking that I also wanted to be a person like him. For the first time in my life, I had a longing for a profession. I was going to be a doctor in the future too. During the whole winter vacation, I locked myself in my room and made up for the lessons that I had missed in the first semester of my freshman year. I didn't go out, didn't contact Ryan, and didn't meet him even once. I didn't even know whether he had gone home during the winter vacation. In the following years of my university life, I went all out and worked hard on every subject. Medical students really had a hard time. I felt even more tired than I was in Senior 3. I got up to study before dawn every day and didn't return to the dormitory from the library until the sky was full of stars. The courses were scheduled tightly, and there was simply not enough time. During the 4 years at university, I hardly went shopping or went out to have fun. However, hard work pays off. I could get a scholarship every semester, and the teachers could also remember my name. Being busy is the best medicine to cure all affectations. I thought of Ryan less and less. I only occasionally heard about his news from my former classmates. He started dating in the second semester of his freshman year. It was said that his girlfriend was the campus belle of the foreign languages department in their university. The relationship only lasted for a little more than 3 months, and then they broke up. In the following 3 years, he had several girlfriends one after another, and the longest relationship didn't last more than 1 semester. When I first saw the photo of him and his girlfriend in the high school group chat, I was calm inside. I knew that I had completely let go of him. In the first year of my postgraduate study, I fell in love. The person I was dating was a sophomore junior. Well, it was a campus romance between an older girl and a younger boy that made my dormitory sisters envy and hate. His name was Edwin, a special recruit of the School of Physical Education who was really handsome. It was also under the recommendation of my supervisor that I went to the tennis team of the School of Physical Education to be an assistant team doctor. Only then did I know that our University of Jinan actually had a school of physical education, and all the students there were special sports recruits. Their daily courses had nothing to do with medicine at all. Their daily tasks were to study, train, compete, study, train, compete. Usually, I was used to seeing gentle and quiet medical students. The first time I went to the tennis team and saw the players sweating profusely during training, I widened my eyes curiously. Those beautiful muscle lines, those vigorous postures, and that vigorous vitality were so attractive. It was as if I had opened the door to a new world, and I couldn't take my eyes off them. Edwin was the captain of the tennis team and also the person I piqued at the most. Because when he played tennis, he had a confident and somewhat arrogant fierceness, which was super handsome. What I didn't expect was that after I treated the wound on his knee for the first time, he confessed his love to me. He was so straightforward that I was caught off guard. So much so that I forgot to be reserved. In a state of mental shutdown, I agreed instinctively. "Senior sister, can you be my girlfriend?" "Sure." Later, I learned from Edwin's teammates that he had had a crush on me since his freshman year. It was just because I had given him a band-aid once. Now that he mentioned it, I did recall a vague memory. A year ago, outside the school supermarket, I saw a boy accidentally cut his hand when opening a packaging box. Blood immediately gushed out from his index finger. I quickly opened my school bag to search for something. Looking at the pink Peppa Pig band-aid in my hand, I hesitated for a second and then handed it over. I only remembered that the boy was quite cute because when he put on the Peppa Pig band-aid, his face instantly turned red up to his ears. It turned out that he was Edwin. We actually had such a fate. He told me that the whole team knew that he had a crush on me, because he often went to our public elective courses just to see me. His friends all encouraged him to pursue me bravely, but he heard that I was the famous study maniac in the college and was afraid that I only cared about studying. So he had never dared to confess his love. When I went to their team to be an assistant team doctor, he was almost overjoyed. His teammates all laughed at him, saying that he was like a peacock spreading its tail every day, showing off in front of me in all kinds of ways and couldn't wait to display all his tennis skills. Until one of his buddies couldn't stand his cowardice and provoked him by saying that if he didn't confess his love soon, he would make a move. Hearing that his buddy also liked me, Edwin panicked. That day, when I was treating the wound on his knee, his buddy deliberately said beside him, "Senior sister, are you free later?" "She's not free," Edwin immediately interrupted him, then looked up at me and said, "Senior sister, can you be my girlfriend?" When he heard me say "sure" with his own ears, he was stunned and suspected that he was hallucinating. It was his buddy who pushed him and said, "What are you in a daze for, you silly boy? The senior sister has agreed to be your girlfriend. Didn't you hear that?" Only then did Edwin come to his senses and kept grinning foolishly at me. Later, Edwin always asked me if I had had ulterior motives for him long ago. Otherwise, how could I have agreed as soon as he confessed his love? I must have been impatient too. "Did you go to our team to be an assistant team doctor for my sake? Did you just want to see me every day? Are you actually head over heels in love with me while pretending to be calm on the surface? Do you fall in love by imagining things in your mind?" I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Can't you just lie to me and make me happy? Actually, I fell in love with you at first sight and had been planning for a long time just to get close to you." "Humph, I knew it." He raised his head proudly. "Damn it, you got what you wanted." Haha, this kid is quite cute. However, although Edwin is younger than me, usually when we are together, he takes care of me more. Young people are really energetic. He has an hour of physical training every morning and it never changes. Before being with me, he got up at 6:30, and after the training, he would go to have breakfast. After being with me, in order to match my schedule, he changed to getting up at 6. After the training, he could just accompany me to have breakfast. Sometimes when I was too lazy to have breakfast, he would buy breakfast and send it to downstairs my dormitory. "Actually, you don't have to work so hard. Getting up so early every day and lacking sleep will affect your health. I was quite worried about him. Don't worry, sister. I'm in good health. He grinned. You're my energy station. Just seeing you for a few minutes every morning will make me full of energy for the whole day. Maybe it's because Edwin is so good at taking care of people. After being with him, I think falling in love is really nice. We have never quarreled because whenever there is a disagreement, he always gives in to me, and he's really good at spoiling people. I found that I'm becoming more and more dependent on him. Before, I thought I was a very independent person and would solve whatever I needed by myself. Now, even if I want to drink a cup of milk tea, my first thought has changed from ordering takeout by opening my mobile phone before to asking Edwin to buy it for me. Sure enough, sweet words and favors can corrode people's hearts. He said that he would spoil me so much that I couldn't live without him. Sure enough, he got what he wanted. During the winter vacation, Edwin saw me off at the airport. Are you really not going to let me accompany you back? He pretended to be aggrieved. You've asked this 180 times already. I was really speechless. Actually, I don't need a title. I can just stay in a hotel outside. You can just come to see me when you're free. I just beg you not to forget me. Why didn't I realize before that this guy was such a drama queen? Alright, be good. I'll video chat with you every day. You have to keep your word. Finally, I managed to comfort this clingy guy. I waved goodbye to him and turned to leave. A few days before the spring festival, my mom said that Ryan's mom had invited our family to have dinner. Ryan is bringing his girlfriend home today, my mom said. His mom said that our two families haven't had dinner together for a long time. Since everyone will be here, we can have a lively gathering. Wow, brother Ryan is bringing his girlfriend home? This is the first time my gossipy side was aroused. Is she good looking? Your aunt has only seen her photos. It said that she's quite pretty. Well, brother Ryan has always had high standards. My mom laughed. When we were kids, we often joked that you and Ryan were a couple. Do you still remember that? I pretended to be stupid. Really? I don't remember. In my impression, Ryan has always been like an older brother to me. Things about fate are really hard to say. You and Ryan grew up together, but you didn't develop romantic feelings for each other. In the end, it's just a sibling-like relationship, which is also nice. However, Ryan has had several girlfriends. You're already a postgraduate student. Why haven't you started a relationship yet? My mom said earnestly. I was really worried about you having puppy love before, but now that you're in your 20s, it's time for you to date someone. I coughed slightly. Well, Mom, do you have any objections to an age gap relationship where the woman is older? My mom immediately perked up. Her bright eyes stared at me. Are you in a relationship? An age gap relationship? How many years is the age difference? Just 3 years. When the woman is 3 years older, it's like having a gold brick. That's good. Where does he go to school? Even when we arrived at Ryan's house, my mom was still asking me about Edwin's personal information. My dad seemed nonchalant on the surface, but he was listening very carefully with his ears pricked up. When we got to Ryan's house, I saw the pretty girl sitting on the sofa. She had long, straight black hair and was wearing a white dress. She looked gentle and delicate. Ryan didn't continue his postgraduate studies after graduating from university. Instead, he joined his family's company and learned business management from his father. This girl was his assistant. I heard that she also graduated from a prestigious university. She became Ryan's assistant less than a month after joining the company, and then not long after that, the two of them started dating. Ryan's mom said that the girl's parents were both high school teachers, so her family was quite an intellectual one. I heard that she also graduated from a prestigious university. She became Ryan's assistant less than a month after joining the company, and then not. Although he hadn't brought a girlfriend home before, he had really dated quite a few. There was one girlfriend who worked as a bartender in a bar. At that time, I was worried that Ryan would get too involved with her. Just think about it. Can a girl who works in a bar be simple? Fortunately, they broke up after just 1 month. Ryan's mom had said this when chatting with my mom before. It seemed that Ryan had quite a rich romantic history in recent years. When my parents and I arrived at the place, the elders went to the small living room to chat. And I sat on the sofa in the living room, playing with my mobile phone while watching Ryan and his girlfriend show their affection for each other. The two of them sitting in front of me were snuggling together all the time. It was only when we first entered the door that Ryan greeted me, and then he lowered his head to teach his girlfriend how to play a game. "Why are you so stupid? Don't run around everywhere. Just follow me obediently. Why did you fire your gun again? You'll attract all the enemies in a moment." After listening for a few sentences, I knew what game they were playing. I missed my Edwin because he had also taken me to play this game. I didn't have much talent for games. I couldn't even figure out the directions and could get lost even in a slightly bigger house in the game. However, Edwin was much gentler with me. No matter what mistakes I made, even if I accidentally exposed our location in the final circle and got him killed, he would never get angry. He would just say in a good-natured way, "It's okay. It's just a game." During the meal, the elders all praised Ryan's girlfriend for being pretty and sensible. My mom also asked, "When are you planning to get married?" Ryan just smiled and didn't answer. I keenly noticed that the smile on his girlfriend's lips disappeared. By the way, has Cece started dating anyone? Ryan's mom asked me with a smile. Before I could answer, my mom rushed to say, "She has. It's an age gap relationship where she's older." Ryan choked on his drink. His girlfriend quickly patted his back for him. "An age gap relationship? How many years younger is he?" Ryan's dad was quite curious. "He's 3 years younger than me and is a sophomore this year," I replied. "Only 3 years? That's basically no difference." Ryan's mom asked again, "When are you going to bring him back to let us have a look?" I don't know why, but whenever I thought of Edwin's face, I couldn't help but curl up the corners of my mouth. Since I started dating him, I seem to have become happier more easily. During the Dragon Boat Festival, I thought for a while, if I come home, I'll bring him here to play. Ryan put down his chopsticks and said to my parents, "Uncle and Aunt, take your time eating. I'm done." He got up and left the table. His girlfriend also quickly put down her chopsticks and smiled at us apologetically. "I'm done too." Then she stood up and went after Ryan. After the meal, I didn't see Ryan and his girlfriend in the living room. After playing at their place for a while, I went home with my parents. In the afternoon, I went out to pick up a package. As soon as I opened the front door, I was startled to see a tall figure leaning against the outside of the door. "Brother Ryan, why are you here? Are you in a relationship?" He stared straight at me, and I couldn't understand the emotions in his eyes. "Yes," I nodded. Ryan was silent for a long time before he said, "I'm sorry." "Huh?" I was puzzled. "About the college application," he explained. "Oh, it's okay. It's been so long ago, I almost forgot about it. Back then, I was young and headstrong. I wanted everything to go according to my own wishes. I thought you were meddling too much in my affairs and were too clingy, so I wanted to get rid of you and take a short break. So I lied to you and said that I wanted to be a doctor. I knew that if I applied to G University, you would definitely apply to the same school as me." This incident had really made me sad for a long time. His behavior back then was really hurtful, but it had been several years, and I really let it go now. I even comforted him. "It's okay, brother Ryan. I'm not angry anymore. It was my willfulness that hurt you. I was only thinking about using my little tricks, but I completely ignored your future. You also have your own dreams and things you want to do. I shouldn't have casually decided your future in that way." There was bitterness in Ryan's tone. "I heard that studying medicine is very hard. You also need to do an undergraduate and postgraduate program consecutively, which takes so many years. You can't learn it well without putting in a lot of effort. You had never thought about becoming a doctor before, so it must have been very difficult for you to study it." "Brother Ryan, I like studying medicine," I interrupted him. "Really? When I first started my freshman year, I was indeed depressed for a while. Facing such difficult and obscure subject knowledge, I even thought about repeating a year and changing my major, but later, I changed my mindset. I fell in love with studying medicine. My current dream is to become a competent surgeon. Really, I've won scholarships every year since my sophomore year. I'm really excellent. Ryan smiled slightly and patted my head like he did when we were kids. Really? So great? Of course, I said with pride. Then I wish you success, he encouraged me. Thank you, I said a bit shyly. I'm sorry, brother Ryan. Before, I was so clingy that I must have caused you a lot of trouble. I was young and ignorant. Please don't take it to heart, little girl, he laughed. You've never been a trouble to me. The one who was young and ignorant was me. Not long after the new semester started, one day while I was on a date with Edwin, I suddenly received a call from Ryan. Are you free tonight? I'd like to invite you to dinner. He got straight to the point. Huh? I was surprised. You and I aren't in the same city. How can you invite me to dinner? I'm here on a business trip. Oh, well, I've already made an appointment with Edwin. We're having dinner together tonight. Edwin? That's your little boyfriend, right? You two can come together. What, am I going to eat you or something? Okay, then, at 6 o'clock tonight, I'll come to pick you up at your school. After hanging up the phone, Edwin asked, who was it? A brother from our neighbor's family. He said he's here on a business trip and wants to invite us to dinner tonight. At 6 o'clock in the evening, my phone rang on time. Ryan said that he had already arrived downstairs in my dormitory. I was very surprised. I didn't tell you the number of my dormitory building. He said in a matter-of-fact tone, is that difficult? You said you were a famous top student in the college. I could just ask any classmate. I quickly called Edwin and asked him to meet downstairs in our dormitory. When I went downstairs, I saw that Edwin was already standing at the entrance. I trotted over, took his hand and walked out. There was a black car parked outside the dormitory building. With its conspicuous logo and luxurious appearance, it was obviously extremely expensive. Such a car was very rare on our simple campus and attracted many classmates to stop and watch. Even more exaggeratedly, there was a tall and handsome guy in a suit standing outside the car. Not wanting to be the focus of everyone's discussion, I quickly pulled Edwin and ran over. I winked at Ryan, let's go. Ryan opened the car door in a gentlemanly manner and let me get in. Since there was a driver, Edwin and I sat in the back seat, while Ryan sat in the front passenger seat. Why are you in such a hurry to get in the car? After the car started, Ryan asked me with a smile. Your car and you are both too high profile. I don't want to be watched by others, I said with a laugh. Well, it was my oversight, Ryan apologized good-naturedly. When we arrived at the place for dinner, looking at the decoration, it was another ridiculously expensive restaurant. Even more ridiculous was that the people eating inside were all dressed in formal and elegant clothes. The men were in suits and the women were in evening gowns. Edwin and I looked completely out of place. He was wearing sportswear, and I was wearing an exaggerated down jacket. After sitting down, I whispered to Ryan, why did we come to such a gorgeous place? Didn't you say we were just having a casual meal? Ryan smiled. This is already quite casual. I was really worried whether Edwin would feel uncomfortable sitting here. However, he didn't seem to care at all and ate more heartily than anyone else. I guess I was just overthinking it. After returning to school, Edwin asked me in confusion, that Ryan, is he really 3 years older than me? Yes, he's the same age as me. I nodded. He looks so dignified, but the things he does are rather childish. How so? Edwin hugged me tightly. He likes you. I can tell. What he did today was just showing off his wealth in front of me to make me feel inferior. I won't fall for it. I'm very confident inside. Besides, the fact that you like me is my greatest wealth and he can never compete with that. How could that be? Brother Ryan has a girlfriend. He even brought her home during the spring festival. A man's intuition can't be wrong. After that meal, Ryan often came to our city on business trips. He also frequently came to my school to find me. In the past 6 months, I had seen him more times than in the previous 4 years combined. Moreover, he would bring me gifts every time we met. I posted a moment's update with a picture of me shopping in a mall. In the lower right corner of the picture, a corner of a glass counter was shown, and there was a bracelet with a 6-pointed star on display inside. 2 days later, Ryan came to see me and brought this bracelet to give to me. It was so absurd. It was just a random photo I took. I didn't even notice the counter in the lower right corner myself, okay? I began to realize that things were getting a bit beyond imagination. When Ryan came on another business trip and asked to meet me again, I found reasons to refuse him. After refusing him 3 times in a row, he called me and said, "Are you avoiding me?" "No, I've been really busy lately." I pretended to be stupid. "I don't even have time to accompany my boyfriend. Edwin has been complaining about me a lot recently." "You don't need to spend time. You just tell me the place and I'll come to see you and leave after just one meeting." "Brother Ryan, we're in a closed experiment and our tutor is very strict. It's really inconvenient." I insisted on refusing. "Then I'll wait downstairs in your dormitory. You always have to go back to the dormitory to rest at night, right?" "I'll just see you and leave." Ryan's tone was firm. I sighed. It seemed that I had to meet him this time. When I went back to the dormitory at night, Ryan was waiting downstairs. This time, he didn't drive that ostentatious car. In order not to attract too much attention, he also changed out of his well-tailored suit and deliberately wore casual clothes. "Chestnut cakes. My mom specifically asked me to bring them to you." He held the box in his hand. "It's the elder's kindness. You can't refuse this time." I thought for a moment and said, "Brother Ryan, let's find a place to sit down and chat for a while." In the milk tea shop outside the back gate of the school, with its small storefront and small tables, Ryan's long legs hardly had room to stretch after sitting down. "I can tell that you haven't been to this kind of small shop for a long time, right?" I spoke first. Before we knew it, we had already become people from 2 different worlds. "You're the domineering CEO who frequents high-end places, while I'm a student who's been struggling with my studies all day long. Cece, don't deliberately distance yourself from me like this." Ryan's voice sounded lonely. "Hearing you say such things makes me feel so sad. But what I said is the truth. Growing up together since childhood was our fate, but after the college entrance examination, we separated, and our fate was broken. That's the thing I regret the most in my life." Ryan's eyes were filled with sadness that I couldn't understand. I didn't quite get it. "If I had known earlier that this would be the result of separating from you, I would never have done such a thing. When I was young and impulsive, I only realized now that those 4 words could ruin a person's whole life." Ryan kept staring at me as he spoke. "Actually, not long after the beginning of my freshman year in college, I already regretted it." "Cece, do you know what it's like to miss someone? Before, I was annoyed by you sticking to me every day and wanted to get rid of you and be free by myself. But when we really separated and you weren't by my side, I realized how much I couldn't live without you." He put his hands on his forehead. "I didn't realize how important you were to me. You're like the air, having no sense of presence but being indispensable. Before, I was always bothered to see you every day. When I went to college, I realized how happy those past days were. Now it's really hard to see you just once." I smiled and said, "Do you even believe what you're saying?" "Ryan, you started dating someone right at the beginning of your freshman year in college. During these years in college, you've had so many girlfriends that I can't even count them on both hands. Are you playing the role of a deeply affectionate person with me now?" At this point, I had lost my patience. In fact, I didn't even want to see this person again in the future. Originally, our 2 families were neighbors, and the elders in our families had a good relationship. The matter of filling out the college application forms was such a big thing, and he played tricks on me. Although that was in the past, for the sake of the friendship between our 2 families, I didn't hold it against him, but that didn't mean I approved of his character. I could maintain a superficial peace just for the elders to see, but privately, I would never take a step further with him. This is what they call one wrong step leading to countless others. Ryan smiled bitterly. I was young back then and didn't know where that inexplicable arrogance came from. I always felt that if I contacted you first, I would be inferior to you, so I just wouldn't take that first step no matter what. I thought that if I started dating someone, I wouldn't miss you so much. But after having girlfriends, that empty feeling in my heart still couldn't be filled. I understood that it wasn't what I wanted. I even deliberately asked my friends to let you know that I was in a relationship, hoping to provoke you to take the initiative to find me, but you remained calm on your side. I was unwilling to accept it, so I changed to another girlfriend, and thus got into a vicious cycle. Your way of thinking is really strange. I told the truth. Are you saying that you've always liked me? And your way of liking someone is to keep changing girlfriends? Then you deserve it. Yes, I deserve it. He admitted directly. The moment I knew you had a boyfriend, I realized how terribly wrong I had been in these past few years. So, you weren't just being angry. You really had let go of me. I was too sure that you hadn't been in a relationship in these years. I thought you were waiting for me. Ryan, no one will wait for another person forever. I'm not that stupid, and you're not worth it. I know. I'm not qualified to ask you to wait for me forever. I was wrong, and I realized it too late. He eagerly grabbed my hand. Cece, I'll change. You like someone gentle and considerate like Edwin, and I can be like that too. In the future, I'll be whatever you want me to be. Could you please give me one more chance? I forcefully pulled my hand back. I have a boyfriend, and I like him. And you also have a girlfriend. We broke up. We broke up right after the spring festival. I don't have a girlfriend now. His tone was urgent. That's your business. I said calmly. But I won't break up with my boyfriend. This is the last time I'll see you. Don't come to find me again in the future. It's really annoying. When I got up to leave, I saw Ryan lying on the table with his shoulders shaking. Later, Ryan never came to find me again. It was good. He finally came to his senses. My relationship with Edwin was stable and had always been sweet. After graduating from graduate school, I entered the first municipal hospital in my hometown and became a surgeon as I had wished. I was very busy with work, but my relationship with Edwin didn't cool down, because he had always been very accommodating to me. Sometimes when I worked overtime continuously, he would bring nutritious meals to the hospital and accompany me to have dinner during my half-hour break. No matter how busy he was, he could always find a way to meet me. Even my mom said that Edwin was so good to me and had done so much for me. You can't let him down, my mom said. When I was 28 years old and Edwin was 25 years old, he proposed to me. Because that year, he also graduated from graduate school. His family ran a chain of sporting goods stores, and he started to take over the family business. I've wanted to propose to you for a long time, but before, I was still in school and didn't have the ability to give you a stable life. Now that I'm working too, I'll take care of earning money to support the family in the future. You just need to do the things you like. Edwin said to me. Okay. I nodded. On the day of the wedding, I was in the dressing room, looking at the wedding photos on my phone while waiting for the makeup artist to do my makeup. After drinking a glass of water, unexpectedly, I suddenly blacked out and fainted. When I woke up again, I was in a villa. Standing in front of the transparent floor-to-ceiling window, I saw the sea outside. You're awake? A voice came from behind me. I turned around and saw Ryan standing there. Ryan, this is illegal imprisonment. I said calmly that I don't care about that. I can't just stand by and watch you marry someone else. He walked up to me. Whenever I think that for the rest of my life, you'll live with another man, have children with him, I feel so painful that I want to kill someone. If I'm going to lose you forever, then what's the point of me living? You're just being too stubborn. In this world, no one can't live without another person. I patiently persuaded him. When we first separated after going to college, I also felt that life was meaningless. But after getting through it, haven't I been living well? Ryan, don't be so stubborn. Maybe in a couple of years, you'll also be able to meet the person you're destined to be with. Ryan shook his head. Do you think I haven't tried? After you said that you'd never see me again, I also thought, forget it. You didn't love me, and I couldn't force it. I tried to live without you and even started going on blind dates. But I found it too hard. Every day was like torture. Without seeing you, I had insomnia all night long, and your image was always in my mind. I faced the reality that I really couldn't live without you, and I couldn't let you marry someone else. While secretly following you, watching you live with that man every day, I was also working like crazy to make money. Only by making enough money and becoming powerful enough could I fulfill my wish and take you back. You're crazy. Just consider me crazy then. Don't you like the sea? This is a seaside villa that I bought specially for you. Do you like it? Ryan's eyes were full of tenderness. In the future, we'll live here. You're sick. You should go see a psychologist, I said coldly. Ryan seemed not to have heard me and just went on talking to himself. When I figure out a way to get our marriage certificate, we'll be a legal couple. In the future, we'll live here. You'll give birth to 2 lovely children for me. I can give you whatever you want. I just want to leave here. My cooking skills aren't very good. I'm sorry to disappoint your taste buds for now. When you become obedient in the future, I'll hire an ad to cook. Now, this is our world for just the 2 of us, and I don't trust anyone else to come here. Ryan, don't keep making mistakes. It's still not too late to turn back. Do you like flowers and plants? I'll ask someone to plant more in the garden later. I found that Ryan had already become a bit delirious. In order not to irritate him, I always maintained a calm attitude. I didn't do any extreme behaviors, didn't get angry, didn't swear, and didn't throw things. There were only the 2 of us here, and I had to think about my own safety. I didn't have a mobile phone, and there were no telephones, televisions, or computers in the villa. I couldn't even get out of the villa's main door. I had been out of touch with the outside world for 2 months since I started living here, but I wasn't too panicked. For now, it seemed that Ryan didn't have any intention of hurting me. At least I wasn't in danger of losing my life. Moreover, Ryan was here with me every day. Since I had been missing with him for such a long time, my parents and Edwin would definitely notice something was wrong. I believed that they would surely find me. Perhaps because he saw that I was obedient enough, Ryan also began to relax more and more. Occasionally, he would leave the villa and come back after a day or 2. He should have gone to deal with business matters. After all, living here required enough money to maintain. I breathed a sigh of relief. As long as he went out, he would leave traces, and my hiding place might be found. More than 3 months after disappearing on my wedding day, I finally waited for the police to arrive. Along with the police were my parents and Edwin. When a group of people burst into the villa, Ryan and I were having dinner. Seeing them, I put down my chopsticks and rushed over. When Ryan was taken away by the police, he was actually smiling. Enough. These 3 months were the time I stole. I'm already satisfied that I could live with you for these 3 months. His expression was calm. I knew that this day would come sooner or later. You've done this. Have you lived up to your parents? They raised you with great efforts, not for you to give up on yourself for others. I couldn't feel any sympathy for him. I just felt sorry for his parents. I'm sorry to them. I've left enough money for them. I believe that they can live a good life without me. He didn't show any sign of shame. I just love you too much. Love? I sneered. No, you don't love anyone. You only love yourself. If you love someone, you won't disregard her future and let her randomly apply for a school that she's not interested in. If you love someone, you won't change girlfriends one after another. If you love someone, you won't have the heart to do things that hurt her. When we graduated, I couldn't get into the first provincial hospital. It was you who made trouble behind my back, right? It was just to force me to go back to the hospital in our hometown. You've never considered my wishes. How dare you say that you love me? No, Ryan, you've never understood love. You're just being selfish. I interrupted him. You always only care about your own thoughts and never consider other people's feelings. No. Ryan squatted on the ground painfully. I do love you. Only I myself know how much I love you. He who was out of his senses was forcibly taken away by the police. Turning around, the 3 people I loved the most were waiting for me beside me. Edwin took my hand. Let's go. Let's go home. Yes, let's go home. I nodded with tears in my eyes. Love is the most complicated emotion in the world. Perhaps love has different ways of expression. But at the very least, love is not about hurting others. If someone does harmful things in the name of love, the only thing we can do is to stay away from them as soon as possible.